Welcome back to News Inside. Hakeem Baba-Ahmed, former permanent secretary, former presidential advisor on political issues to the president, office of the vice president, and also a spokesperson of the Arewa Consultative Forum, first of all, resigned from the position of the senior special assistant to the president, office of the vice president, and he came back. The president was not around. He came back and wrote him a letter and explained the reason why he resigned and reason why he thinks that Tinubu should not continue or should drop his ambition of a second term in office. Okafor.
Yeah, I think before I go ahead, I would recommend every Nigerian to go and read that letter. We'll just concentrate on the major theme, which is Tinubu is time up. Okay, step aside, make good use of the remaining 2 years and step aside. But let every Nigerian go and read that. Let me pick out a few things from there as we discuss. We'll get them along. He said, 2 years is a long time.
Yes.
You know, I've always said this, that miracle can still happen between now and 2027, where even Nigerians will ask Asiwaju, continue. We do not need to make a change at this time. The changes you made earlier in your administration, we are beginning to see the fruit. Continue. But that fruit has to be there. 2 years is a long time. You can still achieve much. But if you shift attention now to electoral ambitions, you risk losing both governance momentum and public goodwill. If you win a game without reforming your style and strategy, what style and strategy did he use? If you win a game without reforming your style and strategy, you may spend 4 more years preserving failure. If you lose, your legacy could be wiped out in an instant.
That was significant.
This is very, very significant. So, and you know, when you go across, he's telling him it's time to go have some rest. Let younger people come into the fold. But you can make good use of this balance 2 years. There's a lot of things. Let every Nigerian go and read that letter.
Now, one of the things I like about Baba-Ahmed, Hakeem Baba-Ahmed, is the fact that during Buhari's era, he didn't keep quiet.
He was criticizing him almost for the whole 8 years.
And not only is he talking about Asiwaju, he talked about how Buhari brought us to this doldrum, where we are right now, how Buhari made sure that, and he also told Tinubu that governance has been made very difficult for you just because of the things that Buhari did. But in advising Buhari, he said, Tinubu, he said, if you don't reform, he said, if you use the same tactics that you used before now, he said, history is not going to be fair on you. He said, if you, I mean, so many things he spoke there.
Baba-Ahmed, I hear you. The way I said that, this letter wouldn't have been necessary if he had met Tinubu one-on-one. So he decided to serve with that government because he believed he can contribute his quota to nation building. And during that period, he had hoped to see
have a one-on-one with Tinubu
and discuss these issues with him. And that wasn't possible. And when he was about to resign, he equally tried to see him and give him reasons for him wanting to leave. This would have been in the public domain if that would have been possible, showing that he's not playing to a gallery. He wants a better Nigeria. And he raised some, he even had Tinubu, for Tinubu to even approve his appointments. Somebody that didn't work for you, somebody that wasn't in your party, somebody that had been criticizing your party, APC, the past administration, for it to have approved it shows an impression of inclusiveness and willingness to work with every other person. That shows the kind of person Baba-Ahmed is. Then he said the obvious that is out there. He talked about a lot of things in this letter. As you said, people should go and read the letter. I want to go and study it. He spoke about insecurity, politicizing everything. Even so many, the present government have so many people, media aides, that even they're even confused about his policies.
Okay, now let me come back to you. Now, he talked about why he opposed Tinubu's first tenure.
Yeah.
He said coming from Buhari, Buhari just wanted to rule this country
to answer that.
His personal aggrandizement.
Yes.
He said that's it. He said when he now heard the speech from Tinubu that Emilio come, he felt it was on the same path with Buhari.
Let me read it directly to you. It happens to be one of the areas that was also interesting to me.
Yeah.
Your Emilocom mantra suggested to me a warring desire to lead, driven mainly by the urge to satisfy personal ambition. He went further. I felt that after the Buhari misadventure, for which the country continues to pay a steep price, the last thing we needed was another, means after Buhari number one, you number two, another leader driven purely by a personal quest for power. Baba Ahmed is not alone in these thoughts. A lot of Nigerians, I remember I was out of the country that time. I was speaking with a friend. We were in Philadelphia talking about how do we move forward after Buhari. That was in 2019. How do we move forward? He just won his second tenure. How do we move forward after Buhari, since he just won his second tenure? The question was, worst case scenario, we endure it for the next 3-4 years. Nobody knew Nigerians had stamina to go beyond the next 3-4 years. Baba Ahmed is not alone. So now he's appealing to our president. Put the country first. Your works are not working. There's no need. But you have 2 years to prove that it can work. That I think you should give chance to the younger ones. You are not the president of Nigeria. It could be having your long-standing ambition.
Exactly.
It's fulfilled. You are fulfilled, and it is finished. Mr. President.
Let's okay, you see, going into 2027, that means there are a lot of political activities going on right now, a lot of rigmarole here and there. I think, I always say I think, especially even before Tinubu came in, I said the strength to which physical strength to which he had when he was governor of Lagos State is different. The president is confined in a place. He depends on what they come to tell him about the economy, about security, about everything. And that doesn't suffice. As the president, if he was strong enough, he wouldn't just have conveyed a security meeting. He would have landed in Jos or go to Benue to see firsthand and give a matching order to all security agencies that said this must not happen again. That's my thinking. But I think that's also where Baba Ahmed talked about when he said that a lot of your guys from Lagos Circle, it is a bigger stage now, and you must act in a bigger stage. Peter.
Baba Ahmed said, at this 80, even including himself, at this age of 70,
yes,
we should leave the stage. We should leave the stage. You have, from my own understanding, you've achieved your personal ambition of becoming a president. Use the remaining 2 years to set a legacy and leave the stage for younger ones that have the energy. As you said, they have the tenacity that can be everywhere. You've achieved that purpose, that your personal ambition. You've achieved this. Leave the stage for younger ones to come in. See, what Baba has said, as I said earlier, is out in the open. The policies, they have no work. Take this remaining, leave politics, leave 2027, take this remaining 2 years to strategize, reject the policies, make it work. Leave at the end of your first term. Let people see this thing happen during your time. Let you be remembered for something. Let us not remember you the way you've remembered Buhari.
I quickly want to take a little detour, but in reference to what Baba Ahmed said, I think by reference as well, he's also talking to people like Atiku Abubakar. He mentioned age, he mentioned time, then he mentioned personal ambition, which we think someone like Atiku is
Nigeria shouldn't be a laboratory for people to fulfill just their political ambition, not minding whether they are able to deliver to the people, particularly when it comes to that age is against you. Now, and that age being against you is becoming much, much dangerous because of how the president's office and the vice president office relate. Let me read out something from this publication. Baba-Ahmed said, "My long career in the federal public service taught me that the office of the presidency has a long-standing tradition of treating the vice president's office at best a constitutional liability, and at worst a suspicious appendage, constantly scheming to take the number one position." Imagine somebody that is meant to complement your effort. Imagine an office created to complement your effort, and also prepared to be as good as you should anything happens to you, because we are on earth, we are not in heaven.
Yes.
Anything can happen. You can become incapacitated, you could resign. You could say Nigeria problem too much for me, I beg, I don't resign.
Exactly.
Somebody should not be a vacuum. Imagine this office that should be working with you in an integral manner, almost knowing everything you know and doing everything you do, such that, because in qualification to vie for office of the vice president, you must be qualified to be president.
Yes.
If you are not qualified to be president, you can't be vice president. Now, if you are treating it with this suspicion, you say long-standing. Baba-Ahmed didn't even say it started now. He says long-standing. So if we have this and we do not have solution to it, old people coming should be a red flag, if not a rainbow flag, because at the end of the day, even though you have a vice president that's energetic,
this will still happen. Well, we can't take more than this. I would have loved to come to Peter, but in this last statement about what he said about the office of the vice president also shows that he has seen a lot in Aso Rock that maybe he can't put it into writing, between the friction we've been talking about between the vice president and the president. Of course, the vice president has come out to say there are no friction, everything is okay. But from what Baba-Ahmed said, a first-time respondent in that place has told us about this. Very soon, we'll be right back on this Inside.